بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. نريد الشريف together. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن الناس من يشتري لهو الحديث ليضل عن سبيل الله بغير علم ويتخذها هزوا أولئك لهم عذاب مهين. صدق الله العظيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has blessed us with another day, another opportunity to worship Allah, to remember Him, and to thank Him for everything that we have. Everything that we have is a blessing from Allah. Whether that is the clothes on our back, to the food that we have in front of us that we can eat. Allah shows and showers His mercy upon us, and only because of that mercy do we have what we have today. From amongst these blessings, Allah has given us body parts. And with these body parts, it is very, very important that we use them in the way which will bring the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the body part which I want to speak about the use of today is the ears, which Allah has blessed us with. A person has been given 2 ears to listen and 1 mouth. So there's a saying that always goes around that there's a reason why Allah gave us 2 ears and 1 tongue, so that we can listen more and talk less. If Allah wanted us to talk and talk and talk, He would have given us 2 tongues and 1 ear. But the wisdom behind having 2 ears is so that we do more listening. And then the question arises, what should we be listening to? We are living in a time when and where music is all around us. Music is all around. No matter where you go, everywhere there's always some kind of a beat, something going on. And today I want to share with you where music began from. How did it start? So we all know the story of Habil and Qabil. who were the sons of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. And Qabil was very jealous of Habil because the one who he was supposed to get married to, she wasn't as beautiful as the other one. So what he did, he killed his brother. So in order to replace the son which Adam alayhi salam lost, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him Hazrat Sheeth alayhi salam, who was another son of Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, who went on to become a prophet as well. So he had been replaced with Sheeth alayhi salam. So because of the way that Qabil had been, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it such that the people of Qabil, so Qabil was known as somebody who was very, he had a lot of anger within himself. He would get, you could say he wasn't happy, and he was very stern and strict and very aggressive in everything that he would do. So the part of the Sharia which the people of the Sheeth alayhi salam, what they had to do was they had to separate themselves from Qabil. So while Hazrat Adam alayhi salam was living, he was living on the mountain tops around with his son and after with Sheeth alayhi salam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it such that Qabil had to go away from the top. So the Sharia at that time was the people of Qabil and his family, they had to go and live in the valleys. And the people of Qabil and the people of Sheeth alayhi salam, they were not allowed to mix. So this was their Sharia. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that you people are not allowed to go and meet them, and you are not allowed to go and meet them. So this is how it would be. So of course, Shaitan was Shaitan, and his duty and job is to try and take people away from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what he did was he went to the people of Qabil, and he went and dressed himself. He went in the image of a good-looking man. So what we have to remember is the people of Qabil, the good-looking women were over there, and the good-looking men, they were part of the Sheeth alayhi salam around in that group. So he made it such that he was part of the group of the Sheeth alayhi salam. So he went there looking for a job. So they gave him a job, and he continued on his merry way, and he got into that group, and they started to trust him. And so he thought to himself, what can I do to get these people together, and take them away from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what he did is that because he was working there, so he created a kind of an instrument, and with that instrument he would just go and he'd make some noise with it. So the people, again, they've never seen anything like this before or heard anything like it before. So they all went running to see what it was. So he would just make the sound for a while, and then he would go away. And so this is where we have to look at an example of the dunya and see what this is. So, simple example, somebody has the latest car, latest Mercedes that has came out. So what happens is they're very happy with themselves. They have the best car, and they think they have the top of the range, most brand new car. So they're very happy with themselves. So imagine if next year the Mercedes, they decide not to advertise the new model. So until the new model is not advertised, he's going to still think, I have got the best car. I don't have to worry about anything. Imagine if they never advertise again, he will feel happy with himself that I have got the best car. But what happens is the next year, they do advertise it. So as soon as he sees it, I need that. I want that. And this is how advertising works. Nowadays, especially with phones, they have a big, massive event, especially with whenever a new phone comes out. This such and such a phone is coming out. Because it comes out, because you see it, you say, I need it. It's the latest one. So this is all marketing techniques that they have in order to get the customer. So in the same way, Shaitan, he used the same thing. That he would play whatever the instrument was, and they would go away, and he would come back and he'd do it the next time. So now he's got these people involved. They're coming, they're listening to what is going on. So the next stage, of course, Shaitan is very clever. He goes to the people where Shaykh alayhi salam is, and then he puts a question in their ears, that the people that are down there, they are your cousins. Why don't you go and meet them? Why don't you go and see them? What's the reason for not being able to go and see your cousins? So now these youngsters, of course, they have that question in their head. That's true. Why are we not able to go and see our cousins? So a few of the young men, because of that question that was asked, so now they go. They said to themselves that I don't think it's a good enough reason for us not to be able to go and see our cousins. Let's go and see our cousins. So what happened then is, because Shaitan would get the people together, and funnily enough, it was, I think the narrations they mentioned, it was a Saturday night as well, that they would get together and they would have this kind of a gathering. So they came down. So because of Shaitan calling them, so they came and they had a look. And of course, when they got there, what did they see? Now, remember, this is the side of the good-looking woman. So the women, they are there, they are having a look, and so now this is where the gatherings would take place. It was a mixed gathering. This is where there is music, and this is where everything would start to happen. Slowly, this is how it began. And from there, when we look until today, the exact same thing is happening. That every weekend, people get together, and they have a dance, and they have a sing, and this is what it does. But what do we are living in a very, very scary time, because there are new things coming up now. As long as the lyrics are good, this is what some people say. As long as the lyrics are good, there's no harm in listening to music. Na'udhu billah. Astaghfirullah. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned that a time will come when 4 things people will try and make halal. And this is when you know that Qiyamah is very close. One of them is adultery, zina, that it will become common. Second is the wearing of silk for men. Third, alcohol. And fourth, music will be apparent in everywhere. And this is what we are seeing today. That no matter what a person, what kind of a reasoning he brings, music will never be halal. Sallallahu mentioned al-ghina wa yunbitu al-nifaq fil qalb kama yunbitu al-ma' az-zam. That the music, it creates hypocrisy in the heart. The way that crops, they grow when they are watered. Now this is the thing that people can twist it and turn it, and they could say, music, it brings peace to my heart. Some people, they'll say, it calms me down, it relaxes me, it puts me to sleep, it makes me feel good about myself. So the same question can be asked, cake makes everybody happy. Cake is very good and is very nice and very sweet, but does it mean it's good for you? Now if a person eats cake for the rest of their life, they're going to turn into a big balloon. So this is why, so some things from the outside, it might look very good for you, but in the inside, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam's words, that it will create nifaq, hypocrisy within your heart. So this is where the questions that, why is my du'as not being accepted? Why is all of these things that I'm doing, why is it not being accepted? This could be one of the reasons, that because we are turning away from the teachings of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And this is where, instead of going towards music, and what is music in itself? It is just some beats, some noises, in order to take a person away from the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is one of the strongest tools that Shaitan has. So what happens, a person is driving along in his car, puts on the radio, a song comes on, what happens, his finger starts tapping on the steering wheel. His foot downstairs will start going like that. This is the way Shaitan controls a person's body. If you ever want to see how Shaitan is controlling someone, this is it. That you might think you are doing it, but in essence it is Shaitan who is doing it. And this is where we have to ask ourselves, where are we? What do we want to be known as? And this is why Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he taught us these things so that we stay away from it. The whole purpose of listening to these things, listening to the talk, listening and coming here, is whatever we take away from here, we try and implement it into our life. And there's a lot of people who are addicted to music, that they try very hard, and it's difficult for them to stop. But they have to try in some way. And the way that we can do it is by knowing what will be the punishment for it. What is going to happen to that person who listens to music? Mr. mentioned that hot molten lead will be poured into his ear on the Day of Judgment, or when it is a time for him to be punished. That imagine that burning lead being poured into the ear of a person. That will it really be worth it or not? And of course it's not worth it, because we want to be gaining the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We want to try our best to stay away from those things which create sin. And this is one of the things that if a person continues to listen to music again and again and again, he will become a hypocrite. That Mr. mentioned this will happen. Nifaq will grow in his heart. That he says one thing but he does another thing. And when we look around in society, this is happening. So these are the things that we have to stay away from. This is what he taught us these things for a reason. And instead of listening to music, we change that to listening to the Quran, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we need a break from that, there's nasheeds that we can listen to as well. Of course, ones without music, subhanAllah, they have nasheeds now to be with music as well within it. That the words of Allah are being said, but at the same time in the back there's a beat going on. So these are things that we have to try our best to stay away from. It's not going to happen overnight, but as long as we have that intention, that we challenge ourselves, that this is what the test is. The whole purpose of this life is to be tested. So one of the tests is that in your ear it might sound very good, but we don't know what it's doing to the inside. The same way that person, he eats cake all day, he's enjoying himself, but only when he goes to see the doctor he knows what kind of a harmful effect it has had to him. So this is where we have to listen to the words of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, understand why he has told us to stay away from it, and remember, if we stay away from it as elders, our children will stay away from it. If a person, just imagine, we have so many gatherings nowadays, especially weddings. The weddings of ours have gone so far away from the Sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. A person is walking in, what usually happens is, first of all, they have the nikah in the hall. You say, oh, Imam Sahib is coming, turn the music off. Yeah? Imam Sahib is coming, he's coming to do the nikah, turn the music off. Subhanallah. Only Imam Sahib is a Muslim. Nobody else in the hall is not a Muslim. So Imam Sahib is coming, turn the music off. And as soon as the nikah is done, okay, you can turn it back on now. So when you think of the concept of it, we have become such sheep that we don't even understand the stupidness of the things that are going on. That how can there be barakah in this kind of a gathering? That when a person, two lives are about to start together and they're starting off in the wrong way. So these are the things that we are in control of. We are in control of it. We can do something about it. So it's very, very important that we always understand that there's a reason why Wasallam gave us these advice. The advice is there for us to follow it, to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to bring the Sunnah of Nabi Wasallam into our life. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the understanding of these things. That is very important, that if we don't speak about these things, then that's when it becomes normal. There's a lot of things going on in society today which is completely wrong. So many things. Our kids, they go to school, they're learning things over there which they should not be. But as parents, we have to challenge that. We have to do everything that we can in order to safeguard the iman of our own families, of our children, of this community. And speaking about it is a start. If we ourselves start to make a difference, firstly within our life, we have to make that change. You can't just expect somebody else to come and do it for you. You are the one who is living in your house. You are the one who is in control of what your children are watching. So all of these kind of things that we have to make sure that we are doing everything that we can in order to follow the Sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah give us the tawfiq and understanding to act upon these things. Ameen wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. You can just fill in the gaps and inform me some questions.